Well, it's been a long road that we've been travelling through this week as we've been on that countdown to a new day of hope. Thanks for joining me again. We're now on Easter Saturday, and that's a bit of a weird day in one sense, because on the Friday that was known as Good Friday, when Jesus died, well, he was then put in the tomb. So he's dead, so there's kind of like no activity, and yet it's still part of the Easter journey through to that day of hope that's coming. So what went on? Well, in John's Gospel, towards the end of John's Gospel, you got a couple of guys there that kind of like suddenly go public on what they hadn't been. They were members of what was called the Sanhedrin, which was a part of the court that had found Jesus guilty only the day before. But they've been secretly become followers of Jesus. One was Nicodemus. You can read about his story way back in John chapter 3. And another one was a guy called Joseph of Arimathea. These guys were good guys, but I guess sometimes it's just too difficult to admit what we really believe, because of the challenge, because of what people would say, our status at stake, whatever it is. We face those kind of challenges today, I suppose, to a greater or lesser degree. But then in Matthew's Gospel, you read there about the Pharisees that were pretty freaked out about the possibility of what Jesus had said about his coming back to life. So they went to see Pilate and they said, listen, we want that tomb guarded. Roman guard. Now, nothing's going to escape a Roman guard, let me tell you, because those guards themselves, well, if they were found guilty of letting somebody out or letting somebody free or failing on duty, that was the death penalty. Well, Pilate said, yep, okay, you go and do that. So alongside the tomb, that probably in itself was probably about a 2-ton rock, there was then a Roman guard posted, which would have been around about 14 Roman soldiers. They were obviously a bit wary and a bit afraid of what may well lay round the corner. It's a weird day though, Easter Saturday, because in one sense, as you look behind you to Good Friday, you've got the fact of Jesus dying. Easter Sunday, we'll be remembering what the Bible teaches about Jesus coming back to life, and there being that life potential, new life potential for me and you. But when he's in the grave, in the tomb, what do we look back, or do we actually look forwards? I was reminded of a story that I heard from the Snoopy series, where Charlie Brown is in conversation with Lucy, who's in her psychiatric booth. And she says, Charlie Brown, I want you to imagine that you are on a cruise ship. Why do I want to imagine that I'm on a cruise ship? Well, you see, Charlie Brown, I want you to imagine not just that you're on a cruise ship, but that you're actually riding, and you are, like me, like all of us, on a cruise ship, the cruise ship of life. Now, Charlie Brown, on the great cruise ship of life, which way is your deck chair facing? Some people, they actually have their deck chair facing towards the back of the boat, to look behind them, to see where they've come from. For others, they actually like to look to the front of the boat to see where it is they're actually going to be travelling to. Well, Charlie Brown thought for a moment. He said, you know what? I don't know which way my deck chair's facing, because I've never been able to get one of the darn things open. But there's a picture there, isn't there, in terms of what's behind and what's ahead, that challenges us to think about our own direction. Are we looking over our shoulder, just focusing all the while on where we've come from? Maybe some of the regrets that we've had. Maybe some of the guilt that we feel. Unable to let that go and leave that behind. Or could it be that maybe, as we look forward to this countdown towards the new day of hope, might it be that we might possibly be able to be facing a new direction, a way ahead, a way of the future, believing that maybe God has even better and greater things in store for us. The choice is ours. It may well be Saturday, but Sunday's coming.